Awareness can be scary because it's the history of everything we might have to improve, of everything we might have things to do, of everything where we are truly insecure and we aren't as confident as we think. Awareness is hard because it forces us to take accountability and responsibility for what happened to us in our childhood, having to reflect on how this has impacted us today, now on, how we felt neglected and then rejected, and now it's showing up in our way of thinking, in our way of living, in our way of having negative relationships, toxic relationships, not believing in ourselves. Today's video is going to be about why awareness is a gift you give yourself and why you shouldn't be scared of it. Because even if you might realize you're deeply insecure, need the validation of other people, at least you're not gonna anymore be giving your outer world to other people. Because when you aren't aware of yourself, you're gonna project everything that you need and want to others. You're gonna want it from others instead of seeking it from yourself. Awareness brings you that gift. Because when you realize your insecurities, your lack of confidence, of validation, you will recognize the patterns that are showing up in your day-to-day life where you are seeking it, and you're gonna ask yourself, how can I give it to myself instead? And how can I make my inner child feel understood and seen from everything they have went through? My traumas are not gonna stop me from living the life I've always deserved to have, and I'm gonna fulfill my self-love by myself. Because at the end of the day, you only have yourself. So if this is something that interests you, stick with this video. Being yourself is more than awareness in itself. It's understanding where you are your most vulnerable, where you are insecure, where are your strengths, where are your flaws, how it's affecting your ability to achieve certain goals, to have better relationships, to even understand why you're accepting such negative relationships, behavior in your day-to-day life. Studying yourself is understanding the root cause of what your inner child wants you to give them, the safety, the protection, and the love they've never been able to receive. By bringing awareness and by understanding how you can do it in a positive way and how you can instead work on your inner child, work on your insecurity, cry, be vulnerable, is the moment no one can do anything to you. The moment you know yourself is the moment you have conquered the world in my eyes, because when you know yourself, you're not going to be as easily influenced. You're going to start to love yourself. You're going to start to accept yourself. Accepting yourself is not just accepting your qualities. It's accepting your insecurities, because your insecurities aren't a bad thing. They're just parts of yourself that come from your childhood, from ways you've been rejected, from ways you weren't accepted enough, from ways you weren't loved enough. And you cannot judge yourself. You have to understand that you're the only person that needs to be there for your inner child, because if not, who will be there? Everything you have went through right now is your inner child's way of seeking the validation to other people, but you have to seek it to yourself. And that's by understanding your inner child, acknowledging and accepting your insecurities, and instead just improving them, working with them, understanding them. And even if a healing journey is never going to finish, it's every day, but every day you get to learn more and more about yourself. And even if you might not be perfect, your insecurities might show up, it's normal. You're deprogramming something that your inner child has been taught to think that's how they're going to be loved, that's why they're rejected, that's why they aren't worthy. Have compassion towards yourself. And now I'm going to bring you to where you can bring compassion towards your inner child and the habits to implement. First, you have to understand your repetitive habits. Do you have repetitive thoughts, habits, relationships? Are you always attracting unavailable partners? Because deep down, you're seeking the approval and the acceptance you never received from either your dad or your mom, and now it's showing up in your future, in your relationships. Because your inner child just knows how to re-experience what they have went through. And until you understand what you went through, you won't be able to stop it or to understand where it comes from. You cannot move forward in denial of your life and of your patterns and of your traumas. If you do self-sabotaging patterns, you have self-sabotaging thoughts, where is this coming from? It might come from the fact that you didn't have a parent there for you growing up, so this has made you have low self-esteem, low self-worth, not believing in yourself, self-sabotaging yourself because you hate yourself, you have low self-esteem, you didn't receive the love you needed to receive as a child. It might be because you've been bullied. Also, sometimes when we didn't receive the love of a parent close to us, we're gonna re-experience negative friendships because we're only gonna know where to go, how we've been rejected. We're gonna also try to earn the validation, the approval in those friendships because it's a way of gaining the acceptance that we didn't have from a parent or what we have went through. You have to understand, even in the beginning, you might not know exactly what you're always doing. Pay close attention to your thoughts, to your way of believing in yourself, and understanding why do you think that way about yourself. Even if you don't have the right answers, one day you're gonna realize, oh, it's for that, and you're gonna understand how to work with it. Work is gonna be the tool to heal what you need to understand about yourself. When I started my healing journey, I did shadow work. And shadow work, if you can't access a therapist, it's really amazing because it's gonna be questions tied directly to the topic you struggle the most with. So if, for example, you have people-pleasing tendencies, you have self-sabotaging patterns, you write on Google self-sabotaging shadow work question, and it's gonna ask you questions directly to why you're acting the way you are. So it's gonna make you understand more directly where it's coming from, why you're doing it, what emotion is it recurring inside of you. And what I love about shadow work is that it helps you heal because you let go of the emotions and the responsibility of what your inner child believes about you. That is what healing is about. It's about letting go of old beliefs limiting you in your day-to-day life, in your day-to-day relationships, and you get to be vulnerable, you get to cry, you get to see everything about yourself. I really recommend doing this alone in your room, not being disturbed, because it's immense deep work, but it's kind of like seeing a therapist. Obviously it's not the same thing, but you access the deep emotions that were never felt. You won't be able to heal if you don't feel your emotions, if they don't recur to you and you don't process them. You need to process your emotion to heal, and that is what shadow work helps you to do. I know that it's scary to bring awareness upon your life and understanding you have to let go of certain friendships, of certain relationships, of certain patterns, because you might not believe you can do it. You might not believe you'll truly attract anything better because deep down you're super insecure. You're acting this way for a reason, okay? But trust me, coming from someone that did my healing journey, healing, even if you're at your most vulnerable, is an amazing gift because you're giving yourself the permission to stop sabotaging yourself, to choosing to believing you deserve better. You can access a better future. You decide to take care of your inner child when they were never taken care of. You decide to give them the safety, the courage, the love that they always seeked for. That is your mission in life. Imagine every time you have negative tendencies, beliefs about yourself. Just imagine a younger picture of yourself. You really want to do this to them after everything they have went through? All they need from you is compassion, is love, is safety. And I understand it's hard to believe, especially when your childhood has not been reflected that back to you. But you deserve it. I believe in you and I want you guys to give yourself this, because when you give yourself the love, the safety, you're gonna after finally believe you deserve authentic relationships. You're gonna give yourself the goals you've always wanted to have. You're gonna believe in yourself. Believing in yourself gets you to attracting everything you've deep down wanted for yourself. Okay? And you deserve to be kind to yourself. We're always so hard on ourselves. when we're the only person by our sides until we die. We're kinder with other people than we are with ourselves. That's not normal. That's not normal, okay, my angels? It's okay to understand you're not perfect. It's okay to understand you have things to improve. And it's okay to process everything you need to process to get to where you need to be. You won't be able to move forward if you don't become aware, if you don't process the emotions that are holding you back from believing more about yourself, from thinking more about yourself. So, my angels, remember that awareness is your ability to process deeper limiting beliefs, deeper traumas, deeper wounds you didn't know were resurfacing in your life, were controlling your life. You won't be able to control and have better things for yourself if your traumas, your beliefs, your flaws are still controlling you. By acknowledging them, by understanding the deeper background of where they come from, is your ability to reprogram your way of living, your way of habits, your way of thinking. And I'm not telling you healing is easy. In the beginning, you might be lonely. You might have to let go of certain friendships, of certain relationships. Or you might even in a few years talk back to certain people. I made certain decisions a few years ago and now I'm talking to certain people again because I understood other things. But that is what healing gets you. It gets you a deeper perspective of how you think, of who you are, and how you really want to live, and what you need to process to get there. So bring yourself that gift, because I promise you that all of us have things to work on. All of us have insecurities. All of us have strengths. All of us are powerful. So believe in your inner power to bring your inner child what they're trying to seek right now, but not in the healthy ways, and you give them in the healthy ways. Okay? I believe in you. And I will see you all in another video. I love you so much, my angels.